What we are doing at School Board School in one sentence is bringing together aspiring school board members and education advocates, working together and equipping them to make change. That is what we do. And the why of it, it's really, really because we believe that you need both. You need both the people who are in elected office and the advocates on the ground. I think that you all are here because you know some about the problem facing students today. You know that our system has been built to not serve kids all the same way. There's lots of attention being drawn to education, and there are philanthropic efforts, there are tax dollars, there's a lot of things that are good happening. And also, there's still a systemic problem. And I am sure you all watch the news like I do. Our Ohio State legislator last year strayed from the fair school funding plan that was promised to all of our public education. That is not being followed. More and more money is being diverted away from our public schools. The power has been stripped away from our Ohio State Board of Education. Power is being stripped away from the US Department of Education. And then we have the on the ground challenges, community groups that are trying to ban books, and there's challenges facing students who are immigrants. All of these things are continuing to cause just further challenges for those who are already needing even more support. So our work is more important than ever. Again, we believe in this and both the school board members, the people who can make the change, and the advocates. I love this picture. It is Kendra Mapp's campaign launch party. And members from all the other classes came to celebrate her party. Everybody's holding up their fingers with which class that they are from. And there's, a member from Kendra was in class 4, a member from class 3 designed her campaign materials. There's CPS staff members who are there. All of these folks from different classes, all of these people are working together. Okay, so what is the fellowship? This is what we are hoping you all will join today. It is a 7-month learning program. During those 7 months, we focus really hard on growing 4 areas for you: your knowledge, about the education system, your skills on how to advocate and create change, your mindsets, and networks and confidence. Networks is a big one that we will get into a little bit more, but those overall is what we're trying to do. What those 7 months consist of: there's approximately 2 sessions every month. That full schedule is on our website. So that's the plus side. You will know when those sessions are really far in advance, and we do ask that you do check that session schedule carefully before you're applying. It's really important that you attend all of the sessions. They very intentionally build on one another. What they look like. Some of them are more workshop style. Some of them are more presentation heavy. Some are panels where it's like very, very interactive. We will also take some field trips, a couple virtual field trips where we are attending board meetings and committee meetings, as well as field trip to see a couple of our local schools. Between the sessions and then also the pre-work you need to do to prepare, it's approximately 5 to 10 hours a week that you will need to put into this. Sometimes the 5 hours for your week is just attending the session. Maybe the week before that, it's just a couple of hours reading the pre-work material. So that's where we're saying that's the average. It's a little kind of depends on our person, right? If you are really knowledgeable in one area that we're reading about, it may take you a lot less time to read the work in one week and a little more time in another week. All of our sessions have been very, very intentionally designed, and they've been proven effective from independent evaluators at University of Cincinnati. We work really hard to make sure that the material is in fact meeting the goals that we have set. So it is a really big time commitment. And then the goal is that afterwards, you're ready to pour it in even more to students. And because the timing is a big question for all of our folks, I would love to get Aaron and Dion's feedback here. Will you guys talk about, I mean, I know that was a big thing for me, right? Before I joined the program, I was mom working full time, I volunteered. What was that time commitment like for you all, and how did you make it work with all of your responsibilities?
I guess I can start. For me, it was kind of tough. I'm a full-time hairdresser, so Saturdays are my bread and butter. So I did have to give up. I think it was maybe like 1 or 2 Saturdays a weekend. For me, because my schedule is flexible, I was able to flex my day. Was it a little bit of a sacrifice giving up those Saturdays? Yeah, like having to show up a little bit in different times. It just you have to figure out why you're doing it in order for it to feel like, oh, it's not a give up. But it wasn't a bother, if that makes sense. Like I knew I was doing it, but because of what I really, really like, which is helping kids, to me, it was an opportunity to like, okay, if I do this and get educated in this way, then I'll be able to make these outcomes in this way. So for me, impacts in this way. So it wasn't to me that big of a deal in the grand scope of things, but I'm sure for somebody who has a more rigid schedule, like things have to happen this way, definitely prepare that. Only because I think Andrea did mention earlier, you don't want to miss any of these classes. You absolutely want to make space for these classes. This is not something that you want to just be like, oh, I can just go anytime. Like it's really set up intentionally for the times you're going, so you don't want to miss any of them. I did not miss any of them. And I'm very, very glad that I didn't miss any of them because had I had missed one, there were some steps and questions that I would have had that were covered in the previous classes that I would have missed. Like 10 hours is a lot. Sorry, 10 quality intentional hours is a lot of content and a lot of information to miss. So you don't want to miss it. And hopefully, well, as we go on this, you'll understand kind of why, because you're going to see how much you get from just one session. So yeah, for me, schedule wise, just circling back, it was it was challenging and it was a sacrifice that I had to plan for, but I knew well enough. Um, like right now, like if you know right now, you can definitely clear your schedule and say boom, boom, boom. Um, and just make sure those days are set aside. So for me, that's how I did it. Um, I don't know. That's how I was able to manage it. So
Well, Aaron, I'll jump in there. First of all, hello, classmate. Uh,
hey.
Second of all, Aaron brings up two great points. First one being time commitment, and the second one being your why. I think your why will impact your time commitment. Meaning, uh, once you understand your why, and you may not understand initially what your why is, but eventually it will come to you, and that will impact your motivation for having to give up some of your weekends for a few months. It will impact having to rearrange your schedule in the evening once or twice for field trips, etc. The point that I'm making is I think the fantastic part was even deriving your why, especially if you're in a space where you don't know what your why is. What do I want to do? Why would I fight? Why do I want to fight? Why do I want to be in a position to affect the outcomes of our children's, futures, particularly as it relates to school, and or not only our kids in our school, but any position that you may be interested in, whether it's a a school board position, if it's a local election, if it's a state or national election, or if it's just something within your own working environment. School Board School provides you with the tools and the confidence to be able to find your why and to be able to establish a platform for which you will be able to advocate that why. And so that's all I have in terms of your time commitment and why your time commitment or how your time commitment will be impacted and why it's such a benefit.
So let's dig into the curriculum a little bit. Find out what you are going to learn. We really break up this curriculum into three main sections. And perfectly on with Erin and Dion's point, you are really going to get into yourself and your why and your values. Um, that is just really important to all of this work. Why you're here today and why you choose the professions or the volunteer work that you do, all of that stuff is really important. Then we're going to understand the system, how it is set up currently, and how do we change those systems. Then we're really going to dig into school boards and education policy. So we're going to talk about the different committees. We do use Cincinnati Public Schools as our test case, if you will, for a lot of things. We visit their meetings. I am not in Cincinnati Public Schools. Like I said, I'm in Forest Hills. We have had more and more folks from various suburbs join throughout the years. So please know there is no location requirement here. And we'll talk about a lot of things that is relevant to all school boards. So we will get into how policy is made. We'll even talk about how some policy is made at the state house and at the city level and how those things kind of impact one another. And district finances. So much of the decisions made in our schools is due to a budget. And I'm sure you're hearing the news about how much Cincinnati Public is going to have to cut. I know a lot of public schools are really nervous right now. So really, I mean, I'm still learning about the budget process. It's a lot to learn. And the district treasurer that we bring in just does a really great job of breaking it down in a way that's easy to understand. So finally, you're going to process everything and you're going to really dig into, again, your personal vision for impact. That's what we call it, our vision for impact, where you will say what change you want to make or what impact you want to make and what seat do you want to make it from, right? So, for example, to both Dion and Aaron were kind of talking about whether you're going to run for something or not. You can be an advocate who has a seat on the school board, and you can be an advocate who is influencing change from a nonprofit board seat or a nonprofit staff seat. You can do it from the role within a classroom, within a school building, within a district, within the community, within other parents. There's all of these different seats that you will have learned about throughout the process. And then you're going to think about how do you leverage your own strengths and not duplicate something that someone else is doing from our network, and how are you going to plug in? Okay, so with that, Dion and Aaron, talk to us about the content and what resonated with how these sessions were set up. What session stood out to you? Talk about that experience.
Well, I'll jump in. Um, again, I go back to the why. Kind of going through those sessions, those initial sessions to develop, your why, your purpose. And, for those who may be asking, well, what's the why? Your purpose. That's what it is. The purpose for you being in this program. And, I have just retired. I'm a retired Cincinnati police sergeant. At the time, I was, running for a very major role, and that's for our union president. Uh, I developed a campaign, much like that of, a city council seat, Unfortunately, I didn't win. I learned a lot in the process. And School Board School was instrumental in helping me to develop those processes and to help me understand the pathways. But again, you don't have to run for a seat to be impactful. You can be impactful in many, many ways throughout your community simply by leveraging the tools that you will learn in School Board School. And I can't say that um, any necessary class was better than the other. I think they all had its own intricate pieces that helped you to develop the entirety of the program and helped you really to get an understanding of yourself. And again, going back to your why. Aaron, it's on you.
Um, oh, Andrea, could you restate the question again?
Um, just the structure of like the content itself and if any sessions really stood out for you.
Oh, yes. Okay. The structure of the content was one of the biggest, um, one of the things that made me want to stay and put in 1,000% for School Board School was literally the consideration. Now, this is going to sound strange, but consideration means clarity and clarity of communication. So when you get in there, everything is organized. Your guests are already arranged down to the seating. Everyone you're seated around is intentional. You always meet different people. So at some point, even, I mean, every activity, you're going to meet everybody in your class. You're going to engage with everyone in your class. You're going to exchange information and ideas with everyone in your class. And what it allows you to do is to see how you fit in with everybody. See if someone is doing work that you might be more interested in. See if somebody is doing work that you could collaborate on. So that was definitely one of the highlights, just the environment and the level of consideration and every single detail, every single layer. I mean, from the binders to the paperwork to the swag to the guests to the little field trips we take, to the activities we do. It is so intentional. Like, um, it you almost have to experience it to understand like the level of almost hospitality because of the people who believe in this, you know, Lisa, now Andrea, everybody who's like in charge of working the background operations of School Board School really knows one how incredibly hard this work can be, and hard by energy intensive and focus intensive, this work can be, how yeah we can stick together, you know, as a ragtag, you know, of, you know, group of people, but it can also be nice and it can also be nurturing and can also be a space where we come to restore, um, mentally and physically and intentionally and with purpose. There are some days where we were just doing a meeting and we gathered, and I forget which day it was. Actually, speaking of sessions that stood out to me, we had a meeting and I think we were just gathering to see what we could do. I think there was something major in federal government that was really it really drained a lot of us. And we just sat in a circle and we just talked. I think we pushed the activity for like 30 minutes and we just talked. And my response was, I'm just feeling really overwhelmed right now. And everybody felt it, but it made me feel so supported to be able to say to all of these people in the space, that I felt really overwhelmed. And we're just all sitting there, city council people, you know, college professors, you know, heads of their business, parents, you know, community members like me. We're just all sitting there like, yeah, it's a lot. To have that kind of reality and impact is so nice. Um, One of my favorite individual sessions, though, just to kind of wrap this up, was when we did a chart, talking about all of our, I guess, traits, like our backgrounds, like, how your identifiers. If you identify as somebody who is, you know, with this religion, your gender, if you are your race. I think one of the things we talked about adding was like age and abilities. But we did a chart and we talked about what those beliefs and how they impacted us as people. So you guys see how granular it gets. Like we're getting down to you as a person first because we understand like we care about who engages with their kids, you know, and we have to know who we are to know how we can impact and engage. So that's just one of the things that School Board School does to fully prepare you for the kind of work that you think you're going to do or that you know you're going to do. for children going forward. So yeah,
Thank
those
you
are one of the
both.
things.
You guys, I did not give either of them anything to say any of these nice things. And I also did not ask them to like tee up my next thing so beautifully because you started talking about the people. And so that's what we're going to dig into next is our people. Um, so that is over and over again, people say they love the people that we meet. And at school board school, we know two things are true. So, first of all, individuals alone cannot change systems. Coalitions change systems, right? Back to that idea of the and elected leaders and people in the community. Also, across every level of leadership, right? In districts, in elected positions, in boardrooms, everywhere, leaders do not match the demographics of our communities. And so, School Board School is incredibly intentional in our recruitment to make sure that our cohorts that we build are representative of our community. 71% or more are women, 67% or more are BIPOC, 55% have experience or have lived at some point being economically disadvantaged, and over 50 Cincinnati neighborhoods are represented. We are also intentional. We get to age. We make sure we have a huge variety of ages, variety of professional backgrounds, people who work in education and people who do not work in education, because we need all of these lived experiences to be together at the table. So we can learn from one another and understand and do this work together. So, Aaron and Dion, you've already talked about the people a little bit, so don't get too deep. But if you could just like another thought on the people, and not just within our own cohort, because no one is as great as class five.
Nobody.
um, but the other folks that you met, members of other classes, experts that came in, talk about our people.
Okay, sorry, I'll start again. One of the most amazing people that came in, oh gosh, no, I can't even say because now I'm thinking of four. One that stood out to me was the vice mayor. The vice mayor came in, she was like, oh my gosh, I'm such big fans of you guys and your work. And we're all sitting there like, I'm sorry, is this Sean Michelle? Like she just came in. And then she had a private conversation with me. She said, oh my gosh, my husband, he's head of the Black Chamber of Commerce. If you have anything with businesses that want to help kids, we need this. Like she was giving us inside guidance on things that she was trying to get going. Just it was so fast. Like those golf course conversations, you guys, or people you hear on TV, oh, we make moves on the golf course. And that literally happened in that space. Like one of our classes we were talking about organizing communities. But yeah, Vice Mayor, to tell you like the kinds of people and the kinds of input and the kinds of moves and the kinds of power and the things that we are all ready to do. All we just need is that other person to bridge it over. That's just an example of a people that school board school has.
Well, Aaron, I will piggyback on that. When you talk about the political entities, you talk about the CEOs and the leadership of different organizations coming in and providing that impactful piece that is necessary for you to say, I too can be an impact. I too can be a game changer. I can play a part. For me, I have a real passion for children with neurodiverse children. I have a passion for advocating for them, partly because I have a child that is neurodiverse, and he, along with School Board School, has allowed me to really now understand my why and understand how to structure the fight. And everyone who comes before your class, whether it be myself or whether it be any of the previous class members and or again dignitaries, will come and they will give you kind of just that piece. Like when you leave the class, you'll leave that particular session, you'll find yourself saying, "Wow, I too can do that. I too can be that impact." Back to you, Andrew.
I love that. Thank you so much. Um, so we do all of this great stuff. We do all this learning. We connect with great people. What happens next? Um, First of all, we do not let our members leave. We continue to engage with members from all of our classes. In fact, when I joined the staff originally for school board school, that was my sole job, was just to continue engaging and working with our members and making sure they knew each other and were connected on the issues that mattered to them. Our members go on to do all kinds of wonderful and amazing things. Yes, some of them do run for office. We have had, I believe, 10 folks now run for, we've had more than 10 that have run over all of the years, but just last cycle, we had 10 members run in 9 different districts. 7 of them earned seats all over the place, all over greater Cincinnati. We also have folks that have run for more local level, the precinct executive. I think Dion and Aaron both have
Yes.
done, yeah, done that. Um, so that is your hyper local, like neighborhood team captain role. Our members lead. We have folks who lead nonprofits. They lead classrooms. They lead school buildings as assistant principals or principals. We have had someone go on to pursue a superintendent licensure. We have had, I mean, just so many folks who have decided after this that they want to go back to school and get a master's degree or they want to get a doctorate degree. Certainly not everybody, but and just folks that get new jobs. So that's been a really fun progression to kind of see over the years and how people, when they learn about themselves, not just their volunteer work and their advocacy, but also their professions and how those will shift.
Hey,
Folks,
Andrew, I'll
yeah.
jump in with a bit of news. Uh,
Oh,
you speak of going back to school. Uh, I I myself went back to school just recently. I graduate next Friday from Northern Kentucky University's Chase College of Law with my Master's of Legal Studies and Digital Technology and Law. And so you are correct. We do go back to school. We do seek that additional knowledge, and it is really derived from the advocacy that we find ourselves kind of like within us through school board school. So sorry. Thank
no,
you.
thank you. I love that. Thank you. See, I'm always surprised all the time by our members and the stuff that they're continuing to do. Um, so we have folks that are just organizing and advocating. This is where we like to bring people together as an organization. Also, we had lots of folks that were active with the state budget season last year. We made sure that we coached our members along on when those opportunities to submit testimony were, and we try to make it fun, do it together. And we have members who create new opportunities for students, anything from starting a whole nonprofit organization to just creating a new after school club because they saw a need that was out there. Um, so all of these things are what our members go on to do and stay connected with one another. Of course, none of these things are going to be possible without folks who come in like knowing, this isn't something that's going to magically happen if you're just, kind of passively sitting in a room and that's it. We do expect our folks, the time commitment is certainly a piece of it, but to engage, to think, to process through what's being told to you from other folks, to collectively take action when it makes sense for you. If you find out about something that's going on, being prepared in our sessions, a lot of our sessions depend on what questions the class decides to ask. And then we do have a group project as well as a fundraising project that the class does together. So I want to talk about that last piece for just a moment. Um, School board school does not charge anyone any money to attend the program. We believe everyone should have access to this information as an equity issue. Cost should not be a barrier. Um, However, it does cost our organization approximately $7,000 per person that goes through the program. And so one of the things that we do to help recoup that or pass it on to the next class is doing a fundraising campaign. We do it together. We give you all the tools and the skills that you need to do it. And the bonus is that no matter what work you end up doing, whether you are running for office, you have to ask for money, or you're on a PTO that needs to ask for money, or you are wanting to start a club, all of these things, it's a great just skill to have and to develop, and will support you along the way. All right. So now that I have talked about all of this massive commitment and these expectations and the time and all of this stuff, Dion and Aaron, is it worth it? And I know you've hit on this a little bit, but
100%. I
It
mean,
is.
I'll just flat out come, just say what it is, 100%. The funny part about it is when I was approached to join school board school, um, to be honest with you, I didn't think that my schedule would allot. I just, working it is a demanding role as a Cincinnati police officer, and is a huge time commitment. And to be honest with you, I pushed back. I said, I just don't know. But Elise, she came to me and she was like, no, you can do it. Like this is something you got. All right. And you something you have to do. Come on, let's and I'm here to tell you, I'm here to spread the same message. You can do it. All right. Yes, it may take, a little maneuvering of the schedule on some days, but you're talking a very short amount of time within a particular day that you can get through. The content is amazing. The lunch is good. And I'm just here to tell you, by the end of the day, you will feel so rewarded because you chose to give your time uh, in order for you to really kind of understand, how what my place is, what it is that I can and can't do in terms of the power that you have. And trust me, you have a tremendous amount of power. I will not eat up all the time. Aaron, I'll give some to you.
Is it worth it? Oh no, it's fine because I was going to eat up some time too. Don't you worry. um, if you are somebody, and I say this every year to everybody I meet, if you are crying, screaming, throwing up, passionate about kids and their future, I hate saying this too, you are so lucky. You are so lucky that something like this has fallen into your lap. There is no way that I could be able to afford this. And when I tell y'all it's worth every bit of that $7,000, it's probably worth more. It's worth more probably than most degrees in this field because of it does everything for you. It puts you in the spaces and it gets you around the people. You don't have to find the people. Anybody who owns a business or manages a business understands how hard it is to find good people. It is the hardest thing to do outside of make the money and shape the dream. You have the people there who are in alignment with you. There are people in school board school who philosophically and lifestyle wise, even in my own class, I was just like, I don't know how much work we're going to do together, but because we all are in alignment about these kids, I would help them with anything. I would, because I know that their energy at the end of the day is going toward what we all believe in. And I know that they're just trying to help these kids have a better, more refined, richer, more robust humanity like all of us. School board school does that, guys. And it's right here in your lap and it's free. This is one of those event horizon moonshot opportunities. It really is. Hopefully, if you don't get a chance to do it this time around and it comes around again, do it because I don't know how long it's going to last. We know America's going through some changes. We don't know how long, certain things like this will even be able to be done out loud and in the open and freely because we're bucking against a lot of changes because our kids need stuff. We have an organization that knows how to do it in a way where it's a coalition, just like Andrea said, it is a group of people, a stronghold, a force, a way we can move. And it is here and it is free. and it is of the highest quality I think we can even gather up. Okay. So if you are one of those people that's like, yeah, I'm trying to help these kids, enough of the noise. How do I help? And how do I take where I am and refine it and amplify it in a way toward this direction? This is the program for you. It is, it just is. So, yep,
You guys are
I think it's worth
reminding me.
it.
Andrea, I just want to say one real quick thing. Uh, Aaron, you touched on, one of, I think a very, very important issue, and that is the networking. Where can you be in a room that will allow you access to some influential people? But then also by the end of it, give you a sense of power that you would not normally just have derived, a voice. And our voices are very powerful, and it allows us to use those voices to really, really make an impact. And so, if you are the one that is searching for your voice, searching for your ability to speak up, not only for others, but for yourself, School Board School is the place to be.
What I'm going to do now is talk about the application itself and what that process looks like. And then it will be open to you all to ask any other questions that you have. We'll bring Dion and Aaron on too, so you can ask any of the three of us. So um, first, let me share about the application. There are three parts to the application. The first part is just information about you. It is contact information and then demographic information. Um, you'll see a description of the demographic information when you're doing it. Like, please know it's not required. And the reason we ask for it is because, like I said, we are very intentionally recruiting this really diverse network. So that's why we collect it. And then our volunteers who help read the applications, they do not see any of the demographic information. They stay separate. So um, I put the link into the chat. Maybe start it now. I mean, just 5 minutes, demographic information, contact info. Let's get that done. Um, as soon as you submit that, you will get an email and it will have a link to the next two parts of the application. So, first of all, there are long form questions. This will take you some time. It's the bulk of the application. If you would like to preview those questions on our website, on the page that I put in the chat, you can upload like a Google Doc and you can see all of the questions on there and even start to draft answers there. The third part is references, a reference form that you will send to two people. It's a link that they will complete. So you just send them the link, they fill it out, and it comes right to us. All three of those parts need to be finished by June 4th. Really quick, before we talk about the other steps, I just want to say, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is not a writing test. No one is looking at grammar, at spelling, at organization, style, none of those things. We are just trying to get to know you and who's joining. As we talked about, a lot of our relationship building work, we're getting to know each other. We're going to spend a lot of time together, all of those things. We just want to know who you are. There is an option if writing is just really not your thing and you would rather voice record, we can do that. That is not a problem at all. So just please know this is not a writing test. We're just trying to get to know you. Okay, so application is already open now. It closes June 4th at noon. About a week later, by June 11th, we will notify folks who will move on to the interview process. Interview is virtual, so very easy to join. I know some people take trips over the summer and things like that. It's just 30 minutes. 30 minutes online. The date range is there for you, June 30th through July 9th. So you'll be able to sign up for a slot. We gather some former members and other folks to come in to just get to know you. Again, just trying to get to know you. It's not like a job interview. We try to keep it as relaxed as possible. And then about 10 days after that, we will notify about the decision, about the acceptance. And then the classes will get rolling starting August 1st. That's our first one. So that is the timeline itself. I also just want to say, yeah, be honest and be you and all of these things. Um, we started at school board school with just 12 members. And now we have more than 130 that have come together to help impact kids in our community. We are not just solving a problem for today, we're building a whole movement. We're going to change the system, we're going to do it all. And we really want you to join us.